Hey, and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to talk about 5 techniques that are guaranteed to get your family to help you clean the house more. By far the most asked question that I get is, how do I get my family to help me clean the house, declutter, organize, or just how do I get my family to pick up after themselves? This, I feel like, is a universal issue that, especially as moms, we really struggle with. My family isn't perfect. That is the truth. They could be doing so much better, but we have improved a lot. My husband, for sure, does way more than he ever used to because I've used some of these little tips and techniques, but I also did a ton of research to find the best ways. And I'm going to start adopting some of these too and really test them out. So if you are struggling to get your family to help out around the house together, let's give these 5 techniques a try, starting with the first one. Delegate one designated chore to each family member every single day. What the experts all say are wishy-washy chores that aren't really clear and concrete, aren't really effective for people who aren't actually helping out. So hoping that my husband's going to notice that the dishes are dirty or notice that there's a pile of dirty clothes that need to be washed or put away is not really going to happen. But I also don't want to be the manager, the director all the time of pointing out everything that other people need to do. That's just not my job. So giving everyone a designated duty every single day, writing it down, having it somewhere really clear is an effective tool to help people pick up and do the chores more often. So we rotate dishes throughout the day, but Milo's job is to vacuum the upstairs. Abby's job is to clean all of the bathrooms, and Izzy's job is to do the yard work in the summer and take out the trash. Giving designated jobs like this means they have no excuse. They can't say they've forgotten because we have alarms set for them. We have it posted on the chore list, but also there's no fighting over whose job is whose. It's a designated, delegated task that they have to do on a regular basis. There is one thing that all the experts agree: when giving a designated chore, it's important to show kids how to do it first. So doing the chore with them the first time. So you can have real expectations of how it's supposed to be done. When I had my kids clean the bathroom and I didn't tell them they have to lift the toilet seat, I know, to me it sounds like common sense, but they weren't doing it. Or when Abby was washing the dishes for the first time, I noticed she wasn't putting the rag all the way in the glass and spinning it. Again, seems like common sense, but it's my job to teach her the right way and then set her free and let her do it all on their own. The second technique is really effective, and I've used this in my own home a lot of times, so I know it works, and that is doing it together as a family, which is basically body doubling, which is why this works. It's really hard for people to get motivated when they're doing a task on their own. But when you're doing it together as a team, everybody's pitching in, it just feels a lot easier. So don't leave the dinner table until the kitchen's clean. Don't leave until all the dishes are done, and do it together as a family. Or on a Saturday, everyone helps out with yard work for a half an hour. Or if the house is feeling kind of destroyed, set a timer for 30 minutes, and as a team, as a family, everyone has to pitch in and tidy at the same time. No one can make excuses that no one else is helping, and everyone just feels motivated because you're doing it alongside other people. This body doubling technique really works. The third technique is called the pay to play technique. And this is basically not allowing, you can't really do this to your spouse because I don't know a spouse that would listen, but you can't allow your kids to have access to the internet or their favorite apps or even have a snack after school or before bed until they've done their chores. So until they've done their homework or until they've done the chore that you've assigned, they can't get the fun stuff until they've done the work to get that. And I feel like this is such a life skill, right? I mean, even as an adult, I shouldn't at night watch TV and relax until I've done my chores for the day. This is like adulting 101. So it's really important we teach our kids to have the self-discipline to get the things done before we go and play. And a really simple way to do this is just putting a screen time password on your kids' devices that you have to enter. So before they have access to the internet, video games, or apps, you can have it shut off after dinner, and they have to do their chore before you enter the code and give them more screen time. Or you just say, can't have a snack until you've done your chore. This is an easy way to really motivate kids and see the benefits of the pay and then playing technique. The fourth technique I call the cookie method. And this is the one that I used on my husband, and I really hope he doesn't watch this video, but I've talked about it before, but it really works. It's a slow and steady approach to shifting a mindset, especially of your spouse, okay? And getting them to want to help out more. And what the cookie method is, it's not what you think. Where's your mind? No, it's praise. So anytime your spouse or children do something without being asked, or even if you do ask them to help out, you praise them. So if Joe's like putting his dish in the dishwasher, I'm like, oh, thank you, Joe. I'm so lucky that you're not the type of husband to just leave it on the counter. Thank you for putting it away. I try to not sound condescending because I don't get praise for doing the dishes, but now I have to dole out praise. Part of me feels like this is a little anti-feminist, but it's effective and it works because everyone wants to feel good. Everyone wants to be praised. So when my kids make their bed, I go in the room and I say, oh, your room looks so good. You did such a good job making your bed. Thank you. You're such a good kid. And guess what? Tomorrow they're going to want to make their bed again because they're associating doing that with getting praise, with feeling good about themselves, with being told that they're amazing. So if your husband occasionally puts his clothes in the hamper, we throw a party, friends. We throw a party. And it's not a condescending party. This is the fine line. It's like legitimate appreciation. And I promise you, over time, they will start doing it every single time. And eventually you won't have to praise. I promise. This works. It isn't perfect. My husband doesn't do everything all the time, but it's 95% better than it was before. So the cookie method, though it takes work on our part, it pays off in the long run. Before we get to the final technique, I have to thank HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. The holidays are right around the corner, and this is such a busy time for me. I don't want to spend a lot of time meal planning and cooking, so I love that HelloFresh delivers pre-portioned meals right to my door. I also love that my whole family can get involved and help cook because the instructions are so easy to follow. Right now they have delicious seasonal meals, and I love roasted vegetables and gravy. That just feels like holiday meals to me. With over 35 weekly meals to choose from, you can guarantee that there's something that everyone in your family is going to love. Go to HelloFresh.com and use code Clutterbug70 for 70% off plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com, code Clutterbug70 for 70% off plus free shipping. The fifth and final technique is making it their idea. And this is especially helpful for the rebels in our family. You know, I've talked before about The Four Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin. This is a really amazing book for finding out ways to motivate other people, finding out their motivating style. But there's a lot of people who are rebels, which means if you tell them to do something, they're not going to just because you told them to do it, and you're not the boss of them. And this is my husband and my oldest daughter. And with a rebel, even if they tell themselves they have to do something, like, I have to get this chore done today, their brain is like, I can't even boss myself around. And they're not going to do it because they don't want to have to be told what to do even by themselves. Does this make sense? This is a lot of people in the world. So here's what we do. We make it their idea because rebels want to be the hero. They want to come up with the solutions. And when it's their idea, and they've come up with the solution, they are motivated to get it done. So after dinner, you are going to call a family meeting. And you're just going to be honest. And you're going to say, not with yelling, I'm overwhelmed. I feel like I'm drowning. I have so many things to do. I need your help to find a way to get more done. What are some solutions? What can we do as a family? Please give me your ideas. And maybe they'll have great ideas, maybe they won't, but hopefully they'll say things like, my kids, we've had this discussion and they've said, we can hire a cleaning lady. And I say, that's great. Would everybody pitch in $20? Will you pitch in $20 a week? If everybody pitches in $20 a week, we can have a cleaning lady. My teenagers didn't love that idea. So what's another solution? Well, I guess I can save the money and maybe I'll vacuum or maybe I'll dust. Or my husband's like, oh, I can take this off your plate and do these chores. It's their idea. I'm not nagging, I'm not begging, I'm not screaming, I'm not crying because that doesn't work. I'm being honest, I'm asking them for help in coming up with a solution and a plan as a team to take care of our home because it's all of our homes. And coming from this approach is a very effective technique. I don't think any of these techniques are this magic pill that's going to solve all of our problems, but I do feel like we can try them, or maybe we can stack some on each other and really come up with a plan to help us so we're not the one who's in charge of everything mentally, physically. It's exhausting. I don't want to be the one who has to let people know that the dishes are dirty and need to be washed, or that there's dirty clothes on the floor, or that there's leaves that need to be vacuumed. I want my family to intuitively take care of our home, but that isn't something that's going to happen overnight. And the real truth is, they're never going to care as much as I do, and they're never going to do it as good as I can do it. That's just the truth. But we can get to a place where they're helping out way more than they are now because we deserve this. So let me know if you have another idea, another technique that's worked. Let me know in the comments below. I've tried everything. I've tried nagging and screaming and all the things, but I feel like these 5 techniques are tried, true, proven to actually get results. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for those of you who have stayed to the end. Have you ever woken up one day and realized that you're your mother or father? What is happening? I used to be so cool, man. And I look back at my childhood and my mom who was like, you gotta do this and you gotta do that. And when I was your age, I was scrubbing my whole house with a toothbrush on my hands and my knees, and I was walking to school both ways uphill in the snow. It wasn't like that, but it basically was that, right? Like my mom was always telling me how easy I had it in comparison to her and how I was so lazy and how kids these days don't have any work ethic. This is what's coming out of my mouth at my children now. I was like, when I was your age, I was chopping wood, I did all the yard work, I cleaned the house by myself, I did all the dishes, I got myself up and ready for school and out the door and back and did my homework. I never had to have mommy wake me up in the morning or drive me to school because I missed the bus. And though I feel this is true, I don't know, I feel like I have to call my mom and be like, was I really as amazing as I thought I was? Because I've said all these things to my kids, not the walk uphill in the snow both ways, but basically the same. I've become my mother. And it's crazy pants because maybe my mind is warping how much I did as a kid, but I definitely feel like my kids don't even compare to as much work as I did at their age. And so I'm kind of concerned for their future. And every time I say these things to my husband, he literally says, every generation feels this way. Every parent is saying the same thing. It's like passed down. 200 years ago, parents were like, kids these days and their laziness. And I'm over here like, kids these days and their laziness. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But let me know in the comments below if you've woken up and realized that you are now just spewing old people things out of your face at your family. That's me. That's me. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time.